Our reporter Cian McCormack is live at the biggest gardening and food festival in Ireland.
Yes, Keelan, we're down here at Bloom, and later in the programme we'll be talking to some of the people behind these gardens. We'll be finding out about the food at the festival, and of course, because it's the bank holiday weekend, we'll be checking in on the weather.
Let's go back to Bloom in the Pheonix Park, where Cian McCormack is standing by.
Oh, hi Keelan, how are you doing? Well, at the moment, a little bit of drizzle coming down, sun is breaking through the whole time, but really people are waiting to get in here at 10 o'clock. I'm joined now by the CEO of On Board Bia, Aidan Cotter. Aidan, we're standing in front of a pretty dramatic garden here. What exactly is it?
Yes, this is a cranberry gathering garden. It's in fact a gathering of some 60,000 cranberries, as you can see floating in that water. This is a garden which is a split-level garden with a breakfast courtyard at the lower level and an elevated highway at the next.
It's one of many gardens here, and you've been going around here for the past 2 days. We're on day 2. You were here with the President and the Taoiseach yesterday, but which garden is your favourite garden?
Well, really, there are 28 great gardens here. The judges clearly awarded the overall category winner to Gerard Mullen, which is a beautiful garden. A venture into the wild. It marries the traditional with contemporary, and I think few would argue with its merit in winning that overall category award.
Walking around, from my point of view, the UFO garden, the Wizard of Oz garden, they really stand out. But is there anything that stands out in your mind? Because there are a lot of different landscapes.
There are large gardens, there are medium gardens, there are small gardens, something for every size of space, and then there are the concept gardens which have a messaging behind them, such as, for example, the 1000 Days garden, which has been designed by Paul Martin for concern with the Kerry Group. And this is about the importance of the first 1000 days in a child's life, ensuring that it has the nutrition to ensure that that child's growth will develop as we would in the developed world.
You've been behind Bloom for 7 years. It has really, really grown in that time, hasn't it?
It has grown, changed and evolved every year, and I think that is what has thrilled and enthralled visitors who come back year after year. In fact, right behind me at the moment is the walled Victorian garden. In year 2007, the first year that we started Bloom, that was an empty space. There was nothing in it, and in fact that is where we located the show gardens on that occasion. Now visitors coming here can enjoy what is a fully restored space done by the OPW, as well as the 28 show gardens that we have here by its side.
If I was coming here with a child, could I sustain the child's interest in gardens, or is there anything else that might attract that child here? Because I think children go free.
The children do go free. They can enjoy the gardens, and they enjoy all of the kind of gardens that you mentioned, the Wizard of Oz, the Yellow Brick Road, the invasive species, the spaceship embedded in the gardens. But then there's the food. Everybody loves food, and certainly the children love the food. And what has been a great attraction here this year is the livestock. The cattle, sheep and pigs and poultry. It's about particularly children from an urban environment reconnecting with where they come from, with the countryside, and that has been a major feature.
Of course, everyone will like to know about the transport and getting in and out of Pheonix Park. So what should you do if you're coming by car or if you're taking public transport?
Well, certainly we would encourage people to take public transport. There are 6 shuttle buses travelling all the time between Parkgate Street and Houston Station and the visitor centre here in the Pheonix Park. Of course, we have opened an extra car park this morning as well, so that anybody coming by car should have easy access.
Aidan Cotter, thank you for joining us this morning. Now, people really don't start coming in till 10 o'clock, but we have the Monaghan Murphy family, is that correct, from County Offaly, travelled up this morning. So just tell me your name.
Hannah Murphy. Zita Murphy.
Nancy Monaghan.
Well, we have all the generations here, but for a 14-year-old like yourself, what is the attraction to come here?
The food.
It's the food?
Yeah.
So you're not here for the gardening, you wouldn't be down on your knees at home getting dirty?
No.
Not at all. And Mum, what about yourself?
The gardening.
And what is it about the gardening?
Well, it's just, it's an inspiration, it gives you good ideas, and it's just the colour and the whole just space here, and just to get about and look around. And
how long will you spend here today?
All day.
All day?
All day, yeah.
And will you be buying plants? Will you be packing up the boot of the car to bring them down to Offaly?
We might bring a few, but plants are awkward, so we'll bring the ideas home.
I know you haven't really had a chance to look around here, but has anything caught your eye?
Some flowers and just shrubbery and stuff. It's just the colours are lovely.
Finally, you're the elder citizen in this group, so what's your name?
Nancy Monaghan.
I believe you're the big gardener, Nancy.
Oh yeah, I am. It's a small garden, but big ideas.
And how many hours would you put in every week?
I suppose 3 or 4 hours a day if the weather was fine. Yeah.
I know you were here last year, so did you bring back any ideas from here back down to your garden in County Offaly?
Yeah, lovely plants. And we bought some bulbs and sowed them, and they were beautiful.
And what kind of bulbs?
Japanese.
New
Japanese bulb.
They were lovely.
Okay, so you find unusual plants here.
Yeah,
well, thank you very much for joining us here this morning. Cian, later in the programme, we'll be talking to some of the people who have built these gardens, but also as well we'll be finding out about the weather forecast for the bank holiday weekend.
Sounds great, Cian. Thanks very much indeed for that from Bloom. And of course, as Cian says, we'll be going back to him a little later on. But it's time now to go back to the Pheonix Park, where Cian McCormack is standing by, and Cian is in a very special garden there.
I am. I'm at the Jack and Jill Foundation garden at the moment, and joining me is the landscaper behind the garden, Kieran O'Brien. A lot of work has gone into this. How did you come up with the idea?
Quite a lot of work has come into it. Kildare Growers actually came up with the idea. It was based on the Easter egg hunt from the Jack and Jill Foundation, which is a big money spinner for the Jack and Jill Foundation.
And it's quite a functional garden in the sense that you're thinking about children in the things that you put into the garden and the things that we can see there.
Yeah, correct. We have the water feature here, which is very important for kids to play with. And also we have the rolling hills, which kids, as you know, love to run up and down and enjoy themselves. And the seating area here for the parents and minders to mind the kids as they're playing in a safe environment.
And how long did it take you to put this together? Because I'd say there's a lot of pressure to come into Bloom and get that garden in before the judges arrive.
There is indeed, yeah. No, it took us about 4 weeks to put it together in total. You know, we had a big work party.
There are 4 charity gardens here at Bloom. Why is it important for charities like the Jack and Jill Foundation to have a presence here at Bloom?
I think it's very important just in the present economic times for Jack and Jill to keep their name out in front. And they have the garden here and people are donating as they move through the day. We were expecting 100,000 people in here, so they should have plenty of money to be collected.
You're obviously very happy with the way that it looks. You're happy with the way it's going so far. We're on day 2. Very happy indeed. Once the weather stays reasonably good, we'll be okay. Well, as we're talking about the weather, that's what's going to be on everyone's mind over the bank holiday weekend. And joining me now is Evelyn Cusack, weather forecaster from Met Éireann. Evelyn, what can we expect over the next few days?
Well, we had a bit of a scare there an hour ago. We had a bit of drizzle. There's actually a cold front moving down across Ireland. It's given a few pockets of heavy rain up country, as we say, but it is all clearing through. But it is going to introduce somewhat cooler weather. Now, yesterday was stunning right across Ireland, temperatures up to 20 degrees in the Midlands and here as well. So not quite as sunny for the weekend, but pretty nice. And in fact, Monday could be lovely.
Well, not quite sunny, but I think you're thinking maybe about 17 degrees overall.
No, pretty average. A big improvement on some recent years anyway.
Will it be a case of getting the sunblock out?
Always wear sunblock, and particularly now for kids, especially if you bring them and they're here for the whole day. But right around the country, always wear sunblock, because even though if it's cloudy, you can still get burnt.
Of course, weather is an important aspect as well in relation to gardening, because we've seen in agriculture recently that there's been a lot of wet weather. It's had an effect. So if you're out in the garden, what can you expect in terms of weather over the summer?
Oh, well, nobody knows about the summer, but it's pretty good for next week. So it really has been a horrendous year, especially for the farmers. So a bit of an improvement and some nice weather for next week.
So can we get the t-shirts out?
Well, for a week anyway. We've no long-term forecasts, I'm afraid. There's no such thing. But pretty good weather, so a bit of good news.
Well, Evelyn Cusack, thank you for joining us this morning. Well, food is an important element here over the weekend, and Roseanne Stevens joins me now. What have you on the grill? Some tasty little bits of food?
We've got breakfast on the barbecue, brekkie on the barbie. So I've taken large flat mushrooms, stuffed them with pesto, some blush tomato, and the beautiful St. Tola's ashlag, which won the Irish Cheese Awards yesterday at the Board Beer Cheese Awards, which was fantastic. Jane Russell sausages. So she has breakfast sausages, but these are the chili and fennel Italian sausages. And then I've taken pita pockets. So these are the bee-free, gluten-free pita pockets, and stuffed them with cheese and all sorts of good things.
And of course, the ingredients that you've used here are on display over the weekend, because food, it's such an important part of Bloom.
It is. It's a huge part of Bloom. So the horticulture, the gardens, the food, the whole lot is really integrated. So there's a wonderful food culture and atmosphere here.
What is the most important aspect from the point of view of food here? I mean, what are you trying to show?
What we're really trying to show is the innovation of Irish food producers, and show that we make very, very good traditional products, excellent quality raw materials and raw ingredients, but there is a lot of food innovation, lots of different, quirky, interesting things.
It's a question I asked earlier on, but from the point of view of bringing a child here over the weekend, is there enough to keep a child interested? Because looking at flowers may possibly not be the best thing.
Well, one of the wonderful things about Bloom is that it's very educational, but in a fun way, not in a boring way, because we're trying to teach littlies about grow your own from a young age, and good food, and working with the environment, and really getting in touch with nature and food and planting. So there's great workshops, there's a cupcake masterclass, cupcake camp for them, and there's a huge amount of play areas and wide open spaces.
I know you've been around for the last day or two. Is there any one garden that really caught your eye?
Well, I must say I do love the garden I'm in, which is garden number 4, because I live in a city, and this shows how to use a small space imaginatively to give you extra room to entertain and socialise in.
Roseanne Stevens, thank you for joining us here this morning. Well, as you can see, the crowds are just starting to come in here now. The gates opened at 10 o'clock. So over the weekend, thousands of people are expected to arrive down to Bloom. But as we were talking about the weather, if you don't get down here, maybe if you're out and about in another part of the country, it's important maybe to keep in mind, if you want to find out what's happening at Bloom, there's a special television programme on tonight on RTE1 television at 8:30.
That's great. Cian, thank you very much indeed.